Hey everybody, happy Friday again. It's 2 o'clock on Friday, February 2nd. I'm with the amazing Miranda Cady. Oh my God, you are amazing, actually. Look at what she looks so good, right? I don't want to bring Miranda Cady on in this video. She's already on it. Do you see the little messages that go? So let us know that you can hear us or see us. We kind of shifted thanks to Miranda's suggestion. We have the flag in the background. We've got a painting.
He gave me a more elegant chair.
Yeah, we've got kind of elegant chairs, right? I just didn't change my outfit. So Colleen's back on. We appreciate all your comments last time, Colleen. Let us know that you can hear us or see us. It should be pretty good in here. It's very clear and clean, unless I've messed up the technology. Tony Tate's back on too.
Hi, Tony. Oh, thank you for the love. I saw that you'd be watching today. I really appreciate that.
He's such a good guy.
Thank you,
both of them are. It's amazing. So welcome.
Happy to be
I'm
here.
excited. So once they tell us they can hear us or see us, they can see us, they can hear and see great. Thank you. Tony Figueroa is on. Thank you. I was just talking about you, Tony. You don't even know. So we met, and then you told me an entirely new story that I didn't know about you. So a lot of times when we're networking and we're meeting new people, and I'm a mortgage guy and I love to meet real estate agents, we don't take the time to get to know everybody. So you sat down one afternoon, and we spent a long afternoon. Thanks, Shirley. We love you guys. It was really a great afternoon.
We were sipping our coffee.
We were our alleged coffee. Hers is probably really coffee. Mine is not.
It is today.
It's Friday. It's Friday.
It's Friday.
And I was so mesmerized by your story and where you came from, what you do. I'm like, you have to be on the show. I love to focus and highlight people like that. Hey, Jaco.
Thank you.
So welcome.
Thank you, Ted. It's an honor. And I think at this point we can all agree that the TED Show has become kind of an Orlando celebrity show live in the afternoon. No, it's true. It's so true. So it's an honor that I wasn't one that had to beg to be on here. Ted actually requested that I join him. So I feel honored to join the Oprah Orlando. I mean,
you're
Ted,
very sweet.
Yeah.
Isn't she sweet? Oh my God, she's so sweet.
It's Minnesota nice. So if you've heard that term, it's a thing. They kick you out if you're not nice enough. You ask anyone from back home, it's why I have to live in Florida now. Those people are like sickening.
They had enough of you.
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah,
what? You're not nice enough.
And an outcast. So they
you
sent
probably
me here
said
to
a swear
Orlando.
word. Damn.
I did. I was like this abstract painter, and I had thoughts, and I was progressive, and
that's the other thing. So give them a little bit of history. So you obviously talk about Minnesota, but tell them a little bit of your background.
So I grew up in a tiny little town in southeast Minnesota. I don't want to bore you all, but I give people from home a hard time. They're really salt of the earth. They're great people. But when you grow up in a town of 1,500 people, you can imagine how stifling that is for someone who's creative and who has 1,500 people. I think it's grown to like 200 people in the last 5 years. So it's booming right now for rural Minnesota. But it's a beautiful area if you want to go hiking, if you want to get away, go on the river, go fishing. It's really the place where people go to retreat and retire, in my opinion. But it wasn't a place to live and to grow as a person and a human being. So do you feel like and Jaco, thank you for that comment. You're a sweetheart. Do you feel like you were born there, and did you always feel like a fish out of water? Oh, there? Absolutely. I remember even
frozen pond, maybe?
Yes. So I posted a picture today of me in my elementary years. You can go ahead and look at that on my Facebook page. And I think from even that young age of first, second grade, I knew that that was a town that I could always love, but where I didn't necessarily want to be my entire existence.
Sure.
And so if any of you have come from a rural town, even in today's society, we like to think of us as being progressive and modern, but there's still this expectation of like, you get married out of high school, you have babies, you settle down, and that didn't fit into my vision of what my life was. And
did you have a vision at an early age of that? A lot of people come on the show and they talk about how they had an epiphany of some kind or a vision at an earlier age, and they always knew that they were going to do something different from what their family did, or certainly something different from where they came from.
So that is so true, and you guys can all laugh about this later, and this is a very intimate story that I'm only sharing with Ted. I don't care how crazy it sounds, it's so true. It has to be true. It's so crazy.
It's our exclusive.
So, I remember walking to school at about the age of 5. I was walking to kindergarten, and the school was about a mile away from my home, and you're walking in snow. This isn't an exaggeration, it's the truth. Hi, Thomas.
I saw. We love Thomas.
We were talking about you right before we started.
We were just talking about you.
Yeah. So I was walking to school at the age of 5, and people who know me more intimately know that I grew up in a very political family in southeast Minnesota. My grandfather worked for the Bush and Reagan administration in the agricultural department, but it was more of a Dharma and Greg upbringing, if you can understand that reference. So
I love that reference.
My mom's family, 70s hippies, I mean, the bell bottoms, the floral prints, you can picture it, right? And my dad's family, very sophisticated, elegant. My grandmother had 20 patterns of china from China that my grandfather brought back for her.
Wow.
And she would host different dignitaries. So I remember being in this environment that I felt very normal. I thought was normal. I thought that my father's side of the family was the standard and my mother's side of the family was the exception, both economically and just socially. Come to find out as an adult, I understand it was the opposite. But I remember walking to school as a young child, about age 5, and I'd have these conversations in my soul. I don't know how to explain it explicitly because it wasn't like voices in my head, right? But it was like addressing the public and the populace about agenda and policies and politics and ways that I wanted to see our community advance and social changes I wanted to see happen in this rural town of Minnesota. Ideas that shouldn't pop into a 5-year-old head.
How does a 5-year-old have that?
I still don't know. Like we're talking political addresses that would happen in the, I think it was the bitter cold that freezes your brain and the neurons just start sparking, just trying to create warmth. And suddenly I'm having these conversations. So still to this day, I joke with my friends about being the candidate of 2032, right? Like I'm going to run for the office in 2032. Not happening. I heard recently, Oprah actually said she didn't have the genetics for politics. And I don't know that I share her same point of reference because it is genetically in me, but it's just not a route I want to take. I love to see other people succeed and prosper in their goals and pursuits, and that's really where I feel like that's my forte, is being a catalyst for others versus self-advantageous.
All right, so you go from 5, right? So we won't do what one of my beautiful guests. I won't call you out, Bob Lee, but I will. I love you. We won't get to first grade. We want to get to where you're actually at today. But there is a journey there, right?
Is a journey.
So you're a real estate agent, but you're also an artist.
I am.
So did you always know, was 5 years old also the time where you realized that you had a talent for art? And we love you too, Thomas, by the way. I meant to tell you that. How did you come into that? Because what you do, and once you explain to all the different things you do, your art's amazing.
Thank you.
Honestly, it really is.
I'm really honored. So in my early 20s, I think with any good story in life, there's always something traumatic that happens,
Absolutely.
right? Something that takes you back on your path in life and sets you apart and makes you really reanalyze the direction you're going. So I was a biology pre-med student at the UWL La Crosse campus, and I'm sure Rob McGrath, my chemistry teacher, is probably going to watch this episode, and shout out to him because he's an amazing guy. But some things happened in life that really changed the course of that, and this is a different interview, Ted, and I know you want the story, but we're going to have to reschedule.
Oh,
so I'm gonna
it's a different
it's
interview.
It's a big story.
It's a big epiphany. It's a big story.
Yeah, so that was one of those traumatic moments in life where things changed around me, the environment changed, and I had to adapt and grow. I ended up writing a 450-page novel about it.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So it's one of those cathartic moments where you take the pain and the angst, and if any of you have listened to Jenny Joy or some of these other beautiful souls,
love Jenny Joy.
I love Jenny.
We absolutely love you.
So I haven't actually met Jenny yet, and let's talk about connection for a second because that was the title of this show.
That's right. I love, and you picked the title.
Yes,
I try to encourage my guests, my guests, to come up with a title because you always can be more creative than me. I can pull it out, but I loved the title of the show. Tell them what the title was.
So the title is Connecting with People in a Technologically Savvy Environment in Today's Society. So we have access to Facebook, and Ted and I were actually discussing this prior to going live today, is that oftentimes we'll introduce or send out friend requests to people that maybe we're not intimate with personally. Maybe we haven't met them per Facebook standards, like we're only supposed to send friend requests to our friends. But there's something about reaching out because you've heard that this person is amazing, that they're doing great things in the community,
Yes.
that they're progressing and building relationships with other people, and that's just someone you want to get to know. And I feel like Facebook is a really easy platform.
Agreed.
welcoming, you can see whether that's a good fit, whether there's a symbiotism there from the get-go.
Yes, I agree.
So you can look in professionally or socially and see how this person fits into your life. And Jenny Joy is one of those people who I haven't met yet personally, but I feel like I know her intimately because of technology and society.
Well, because she's also, we talk about it, vulnerability, authenticity. She's a great example of somebody who just lets their guard down. I was sharing with Miranda that I hadn't met her, but I had heard about her. Pachakachu? No. Pachakasha.
Eddie, did I say that right?
I know.
We're
Eddie,
still
I'm
arguing
sorry.
about
I love
this.
it. I call it Pikachu, but
It's
I
an
know
Asian
it's
thing.
amazing.
20 seconds, 20 films.
Yes. So
right?
she talked about Burning Man, and I reached out to her. I just knew we had a lot of friends in common, but I had heard that she was very impactful, and the show that she did with me was equally as impactful. She was awesome. But that's the great thing about this medium, is that you get to connect. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people view social media, view technology as a way to disconnect because there's so much new there. Yes, very isolatory. Great word.
We all sit there on our phones during dinner, right, ignoring the people around us.
But it also gives you access to people and their thoughts that you wouldn't normally have. You wouldn't just sit down, and Jenny wouldn't sit down if she met me at a luncheon and talk about Burning Man. Or you wouldn't talk about art. Like it just gives you an opportunity to reach out to people. So that's your idea, which I loved.
So we're going to bring back Thomas Waterman for a second because he said hi earlier today.
He did.
And I want to bring out Purpose Pioneers. So I had the opportunity of meeting Jenny Joy's son, Sean, at a meeting of the Purpose Pioneers, where Thomas Waterman hosted us, and we were talking about our purpose and our beliefs and what we believe in societally and in our businesses. So if any of you get a chance to attend a Purpose Pioneers conference or event, I highly
There's one coming up,
that.
so Thomas, if you're still on, you should post the link and we'll share it.
Post the link, absolutely. That's something that you need to do. It's 4 hours, but it flies by and it's worth every second.
Agreed.
So Sean was there at Purpose Pioneers, and this is really what motivated me for the title. We were talking, and I asked this young man, if you haven't met Sean yet, Jenny Joy's son, he's 15 years old. He's passionate. He has this view and ideal of what he wants in life. And I asked him at one point, you'll have to excuse me, dramatic pause.
Dramatic pause. Here we go. Mm-hmm. We have the flag by us. You're golden. Thanks to you.
Ted.
Thanks to you.
So Sean, I asked him if he had read Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People, which I feel like is a book that really needs to be retitled in today's society because it means something so much different.
Did you see who just popped up, by the way?
Oh, hi, Jenny. We were just talking about you.
You have to watch the show because we literally have been talking about you for 5 or 10 minutes.
Whole episode. You just tuned in as we were talking about Sean. So
yeah, we're talking about your son, Sean.
I had asked Sean, have you read Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People? And he's like, actually, I have, which is not a response you expect from a 15-year-old. You don't expect them to be well-versed in that book. And he said that his mom, Jenny, had given him the book and that he adored it. And I feel like if you want to progress with your goals in life, and Ted's brought a lot of really amazing people here on the show, people that you've probably either wanted to meet or you have met or you should meet. And if you haven't read that book already, go get that today. Like, if you want to connect with people personally, intimately, whether it's online or in private, that's something that you just need to be well-versed in. And it gives you the courage to reach out to people and meet them where they're sitting and understand what their goals and objectives are. And that's going to help you reach your goals and objectives. So, Ted, I feel so honored to be on the show because I've only been in the Orlando market almost, it'll be 2 years this August. So I haven't been here long. But applying the principles of Dale Carnegie and Steve Covey and all these really great writers and how to advance your objectives by helping other people meet theirs.
Correct.
Understanding who people are, what they stand for, what their goals and objectives are, and being the catalyst in their lives to put those puzzle pieces together is really what's led me to successfully achieve my goals here in Orlando, whether it's in real estate, in art. I just feel honored and blessed that people are willing to come behind me and support me because they see that I care more about them.
But that's the thing. I think that's such an important point to make is that, and we talk about it on the show all the time, and Thomas does on his show, you have to bless other people. You have to figure out how to connect with them on their level. And once you do, even though it may be something foreign to you, you may not even know what it is that they're doing, but if you can figure out how to connect with them, it comes back like 100-fold. It's 1,000-fold. It's insane how much great response you get back and all of the wonderful things that you get back in your life.
That's hometown love right there.
See, she said something about Minnesota earlier. She said something earlier. Hey, Nikki, I'm sorry, I didn't get a chance to comment on that.
Thank you for coming
but I love what you're saying, because that's what it is. It's about the connection. And it's about we have so much opportunity to utilize social media and technology to make the connection.
Yes.
I mean, think about it. When my wife didn't want to be on Facebook at all, she had absolutely no desire. That's the great thing. Here we go. This is the organic. Here we go.
They're so attentive to service. They're going to interrupt the live video. They really want to make sure
they want to be on. They all try to get in. Yeah, it's awesome. But I love what you're saying. I think that you coming in, the reason that you have gotten all of the positive reinforcement and have people surround you is because you've allowed yourself to be vulnerable, you're authentic, you're out there and you're putting yourself out there and your emotions out there, and people respond to that because they're starving for it, they're hungry for it. And Jenny just said, people don't care about what you have to say until they know how much you care, and that's absolutely true.
Is that Maya Angelou? That's a Maya Angelou quote, I think, and it's so true. I love that, Jenny. I love that.
So I think that the reason that you are in the place that you're in, you have to also give yourself credit. Remember, if you're putting yourself out on a limb and you're taking these risks, because being authentic and vulnerable can be a risk. People have all these masks and all of these roadblocks up, and you don't ever get to know the person. If you're willing to do that, you can't imagine the amount of success and the amount of love and energy and support you'll get.
Oh, thank you, Ted.
So I think that's awesome.
I can't wait to tear down all of my bricks and layers and share the real Miranda with all of you. It's going to be an easy step process because we also have that professional life, right?
Of course.
But I want to give Thomas Waterman some huge credit for being a mentor to me. From the first time I met him at the Collective, actually, you'll see my little pin. Ted has one too. He's
I do. I don't have it today.
So we're talking about connection in Orlando. And if you are involved in a nonprofit, or you're a board member, or you have any philanthropic pursuit of wanting to give to a different nonprofit and finding out more about what's going on in the community, contact and reach out to Andre Bailey and John Busticker. I actually got to know them via Facebook, of all places.
Telling you, it's powerful.
It truly is. The first time I saw the Collective was on Facebook, and it spoke to me. I was like, this is exactly, they were talking about social change and being progressive and changing the world, and I'm like, that's exactly, they hold all the same values that I hold, and I want to be part of this movement. And I think when you understand that technology gives you an open gateway to connect with people who share the same values, the same purpose, and you're all goal-driven towards the same endpoint, you can unite and connect and have this catalytic effect where you can achieve those goals 10 times faster than you could in any other platform. So technology can be isolatory if you're not using it appropriately.
Agreed.
And I think Jim Thomas actually had a great conversation with Andre in a live video yesterday about technology and the advancements and how can we channel some of the things that could be terrifying, like the movie Gattaca, and how can we turn it into something that's positive? How can we use the same intelligence to advance our lives instead of being fearful?
Correct.
So,
because fear really does. I love Jim Thomas.
Yeah. Oh,
Jim
and Christine.
He's amazing. So, and so are John and Andre. I want to give a shout out. And whoever your friend Nikki is, I love her because she typed the nicest thing on here. I appreciate you, Nikki, for saying that.
She used to be the cheerleading captain when I was a little girl in elementary school, and she was one of my role models and influencers in a very small town. She gave me the courage to step outside of myself and be the person I am today. So huge shout out to her. It's an honor to have you on today, Nikki. Thank you.
See, and that's another thing back to mentors. I know we're all over the place, but I love this conversation. Mentors, so important. No, I love it. Mentors, so important. So we're filming actually our first video series on mentorship. And so we filmed the first episode today. It wasn't live. We're going to start doing videos. But I was still as moved and motivated by the person who's doing the mentoring and how important that. You'll never forget that. You'll never forget how amazing she was. And if you mentor somebody, you reach out, you go outside your nine dots, you actually allow yourself to get involved with that person and accept them. It does so many great things. They never forget. I have a teacher, Jean Heater, who's on my Facebook. She was my third grade teacher, most impactful ever of a teacher until high school. but I'll never forget what she did, what she represented, how I felt. Isn't that a Maya Angelou as well? How I felt because of all of the positive stuff that she continued to put in my life when I didn't have any. Yes. So it's very impactful, very impactful.
I think when you have the opportunity to challenge another person and see something in them that they don't see in themselves, and that's really, I've had great motivators and mentors in my life like that, where they'll see this child walking to school in the cold and having these political conversations where when you get inside of yourself, you don't see yourself in the same viewpoint.
Correct.
You don't see the value in that, and you're goal focused, and your objectives and pursuing your goals aren't necessarily open to what you could accomplish in the future. Correct. If you saw yourself in a different light from other people's perspectives. So that's where mentoring really opens a light on a person and allows you to connect them and help them achieve goals that they never could have otherwise. And Ted, I've been deathly afraid of getting here live with you.
Oh, so she was so nervous.
So you guys know
It's so, you're such a natural. I don't know why anybody is nervous to go. We're just talking, and we're talking with our friends who happen to not be here, but they're in the room somewhere.
So Tom Ferry, we're going to get to real estate for a second here for a quick minute. Tom Ferry, a huge mentor, anyone in the real estate industry knows, and Ted's in lending. How many of you know that Ted's in lending?
Nobody, because I don't talk about it.
He doesn't talk about it.
I'm working on that. We're working on it.
I want to interview you for your 150th episode. Can I interview you?
Oh, there we go.
Ted?
You should.
I would love that. I would be honored.
Sold.
So I was joking with friends that I was going to interview you today, and obviously I didn't have the courage to do that because this is your show and I'm not going to hijack it.
Oh, no, you're good.
But Tom Ferry told me that Google has said 85% of media that's consumed in the next few years is going to be entirely video. So forget your paperback, forget your Kindle, forget your Facebook posts. It's all video. And that stretches me so far outside of my comfort zone. And so,
but you're a natural. Has it been as nerve-wracking? Don't you feel like it's me and you having a conversation with Nikki and Jim and Thomas
and Jenny?
Jenny,
all we're doing is
we're having literally just a roundtable discussion. It's really basically what it is. Friends are out to dinner, out to having drinks, and I just want to give a shout out Jim McMail, who I love. Works on the West Art District. Do you know Jim?
I haven't met him.
He said I would love to meet Miranda.
Thank you.
He's an artist at heart too. He's a wonderful man, and he's done a lot of work over at West Art District.
Oh, Jim. Let's connect on my other Facebook page too. Internationally, there are some art connections that might be advantageous to both.
And see, Everett says Miranda's a natural. I know that you were nervous, and it was so funny. So when you said that to me, I forget that you feel like this is just us talking, and you can see us immediately. One of the reasons I love having the camera this way is you can immediately see, like, I got all my chins out, so we're golden there. But it's just a relaxed discussion. And so I applaud you for getting past whatever your anxiety was. You are totally
I've got this flashback that comes to me in moments like this, and this is only going to be hometown appropriate. Some of you at home will understand this. So when I was probably 9 years old, I played Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. I loved acting. My mother was always on stage. I adored the concept of being on stage and being in front of people and playing a role outside of myself. And I got up there in this community theater, and I was Dorothy, and the first 3 performances went really great, like phenomenally, and I'm singing and dancing, and it's all good. And the 4th performance, there was this cute boy in the front of the audience, and he was very attractive, and I missed a note, and I cursed on stage in front of everyone. And you can't take those moments back.
That's awesome.
You can't rewind that. And the cute boy in the front row, I think I saw his eyes get a little bit wider, but mostly it was me that was panicking. And to go on with that role, I'm not going to tell you who the cute boy was, Rushford. You're just going to have to guess. He was blonde, and he was an Anderson. You take your pick. There are a lot of blonde Andersons.
I love it. Well, especially in Minnesota, if that's what we're talking about. I love it.
No, I'm honored to be here with you, Ted.
So talk about your art some.
My art? Okay, absolutely.
Because that's a whole... So you are a talented, gifted artist. So talk about that, because that was one of the most amazing... we had such a great afternoon when we spent that time. It was last week or 2 weeks ago. And it was
right before the holidays.
It was right before the holidays.
Yeah.
It all runs together. But I know that I loved spending that time with you. And I thought, oh my God, she's got real talent. Because a lot of people go, I'm an artist. Oh,
I'm an artist.
Sure you are. So is my 4-year-old.
I paint white lines on black canvas.
Yeah, no, I can't even draw a straight line. So, but you really do have an amazing talent.
Thank
so talk
you.
about that.
Thank you. I'm going to give one quick shout out to Clovis Rusk, who I met in New Smyrna Beach, who I think is a contemporary artist today who will rival anyone from past generations. And if you haven't looked at his work, do. I have it on my other page. I'll make sure I post it on my private account tonight so you guys can check that out, because I believe that we learn from artists and other people who have talent, and he's one of the people who's going to transform my art going forward. So I just want to shout out to him. I learned very young to deal with emotions using my hands. So whether I was building something, creating something, writing something, painting something, life can throw tense situations at you that you don't have a way to express. And for me, when I didn't have words to articulate, or I didn't feel comfortable leaning on a person next to me, I would go to a canvas and I'd pull out my paints. And the funny thing about how I paint, that most artists sit with a palette and they have their entire color selection and they'll dabble and mix and blend. When I paint with one color. I will pick one color and I will paint on 10 canvases that day.
Wow.
And for me, it might be a yellow day, it might be a blue day, it might be a green day. Whatever I'm feeling in that moment, whatever color associates with that feeling, is the color I pull from and I bring and put on the canvas. And obviously you're paying attention to shading and light and dimensionality and how that composition is going to come together. But when I'm having a red day, seeing that emotion pour out on canvas, and the end product of most of my paintings is this vibrantly colored, what seems to be super, super happy and vibrant and just emotionally touching. And I've heard most recently a thorough, like you have this sense of like heavenly karmic associations with that. It does have kind of a galactic perspective. Usually I do a lot of drip work and layering, but I think what means so much to me is that people see beauty in that. And for me, it is typically more often than not pain that's coming out on those canvases.
I was going to say, so you're painting pain, and they're feeling beauty, and it's cathartic for you. So maybe that's what they're experiencing. But
they're experiencing
I understand
that healing process.
Correct, because you're going through it, and honestly, you're feeling the pain, but the final work is a work that you've worked through it, or at least part of it. So I think that's amazing. We have to check that when we finish the show in a bit. When we share the video, I definitely want you to give them a link to whatever you're comfortable with as far as your art goes, because it's just so beautiful. It is vibrant.
Thank you. I do sell prints of it. I actually had the honor of David Green, my first meeting in the collective, the very first meeting in the collective. David Green came up to me and he said that Feeding Children Everywhere was doing an organized event. Ted, the live thing. I could pre-record these next time.
No pre-recording. There's no editing. No editing.
No take-backs.
No take-backs.
David Green came up to me and he said, Miranda, I was really inspired. You know, you got up with a microphone and you said that you're an artist who wants to donate your art for nonprofits so that they can give back to the people that give to them and raise funds through silent auctions or live auctions to help support their charities. And I was very adamant about that. That's the reason I went to the first collective meeting, because I want to take the skill that I have and attribute it to something where we can advance the society as a whole.
I love it. David's amazing.
He's
coming on the show in 2 weeks.
Did you see his shoes this weekend? They were styling. Oh, they were flashy.
All we know is that David had some dance moves. That's what we were talking about earlier.
Oh, Chris Castro. No, that was Chris Castro.
Oh, no, David Green also.
David does too? I didn't see David dance, but anyone who had the chance to attend the gala, it was pretty amazing.
And St. John, how are you? She says art's a universal language. The emotion is what gives the beauty, and we all can understand it. She's right. She's coming on the show in a couple of weeks.
I would love to have a conversation personally. You can always reach out to me. I'm going to put my calendar link too at the bottom of Ted's video. If anyone wants to grab coffee or get to know me better, I'm passionate about people, kind of a Bob Coda style. Like I love getting to know people.
Oh my God.
Yeah, isn't he phenomenal? Yeah. So I would love to sit down and talk with any of you more and discuss different topics, whether it's art or real estate.
But I love that. So what you're willing, again, that's a vulnerability. So you're giving them, and we'll give you all the contact information from Miranda, but you're opening yourself up. And I think a lot of people are so afraid of that. And I understand why they are. It's kind of a weird times we live in. But I encourage you all to be as vulnerable and authentic. I mean, be yourself. Yes. It's the only way to be. And sometimes it's painful. Sometimes you cry. We were talking earlier about how my amazing guest, and I won't call him out, cried earlier this week because he was talking about his passion and something that he had not really spoken out loud about, I don't think. And he cried. He got so emotional. When you have that much love for what you're doing or what you want to do, or you're in pain or you're in transition, whatever's happening to you, and you're willing to share that with other people, it's such a blessing. You are blessing so many people.
I think people in general are so afraid to share those emotions because there's some negative connotation with being vulnerable that shows weakness, and it's so untrue. It's that vulnerability that bonds us to the people around us.
I totally agree. So leave them with some. See how fast it goes. Are you still nervous?
I'm not nervous, and we're done already. Oh my gosh!
I hate that we're done, but I want you to leave them with some parting words. We'll definitely have you back on. I'm thinking about doing an alumni series because you're technically after today an alumni, an alumnus.
Honored. I thought you had Steve Black. You've had some amazing people on the show.
Listen,
it's amazing people on the show.
The people I have on the show. I literally don't know why they continue to say yes. God bless them. They maybe don't look at the videos.
Yeah, right.
But no, I would love for you to leave them with something. Not that you haven't already. And we'll give all of Miranda's contact information, the links that she wants to share, the hashtags, when we're finished here. And look at all your Minnesota girl, Nikki. She's awesome.
She's loving this.
She's awesome.
I'm just going to say, and this comes from a Purpose Pioneers meeting that I had with Diane Court and Jim Thomas, and Rupert Magnot was there too. I just want to say, I'm a little distracted.
Oh, you're fine. Just ignore it. The video's still on.
I truly feel like it's my purpose. I feel like every person out there has dreams and ambitions that deserve to be heard.
Agreed.
And I feel like it's my mission, my purpose, to facilitate the actualization of those dreams and goals. If it's someone I know in my network, if it's a business partner that can help you achieve your success, if it's someone in venture capital, whatever that means, I want to listen authentically to what you're trying to do in life and apply that and find the puzzle pieces and the people and be that catalyst that helps you succeed in life. So whether it's as a real estate agent, pairing buyers and sellers, or some of the other goals I have in starting a nonprofit, pairing children with sustainable food sources and teaching them self-reliance, which is a totally different topic of conversation we didn't get to touch on today.
That's awesome.
I want to help you achieve your goals. So when that link is in there about coffee, I'm really a good listener, and I'm gonna play Ted's role and ask you some questions and find out what your objectives are and get to know you better, because that's how I can help you grow. And when you apply that, if you've read Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People, when you apply those techniques of understanding other people, understanding how you can help them, you're both going to advance. So that's really the message I bring out today.
I love that. And I think you're 100% right. When you begin to take the focus off you and you begin to focus on other people and what they need and how you can help them, you will be 100% amazed at the amount of love and support and positive stuff that comes into your life. It's a daily thing. For us, it's not perfect, but it works.
Yes.
It totally works. And I can't, people are like, how could, like today, Miranda's my third interview. I could have 10 interviews today because I'm going to leave here so much more fulfilled. And I guarantee you that is going to come back to me a millionfold. That's not why I do it, but it's just a natural thing that happens because of it. So if you're willing to put yourself out there, seriously, when you take the focus off you for a little bit, stop worrying about what you have going on, your problems, everything that's going on, and you focus on somebody else, you will be amazed at how much better you feel and how much better things start to happen in your life. So, and June Townsend says, I love this woman, she's the best. You've had a lot of amazing comments. And Nikki says she's coming to visit the tundra.
The Nordic tundra?
Yeah,
I'll come in July, not until then. One last great thing
please.
about Ted, his synopsis is phenomenal. He's going to end the show. But how many of you just love Ted? How many of you no, seriously though, whether you've met Ted or not, you've seen this show and you've seen his passion for other people and what's happening in this community, and you have a natural kind of euphoric, like, oh, it's Ted. Like, I feel like he's a common modern day celebrity here in Orlando because he cares more about other people than himself. And if we can make that infectious in our community, how better is Orlando? Like, property values are soaring here. Let's make it soar for a reason. Like, let's create the type of environment that people want to fly to.
And then I get to be around people just like what I'm trying to accomplish here every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. What a blessing. So you all are a blessing too. I'm so thankful for all the love and support you give us. You were awesome today.
Thank
See,
you.
nothing wrong with it, right? It's just me and you talking.
We're
And
just
then
talking.
people giving positive feedback. How bad can that be?
It's not. And there's art in the background, so I feel
There's
at
art. No,
home. And
thank
the
God
flag,
you
so
did
when I
it. We
run
got
in
the flag. We got some
2032
art.
for
'Cause
president.
we were kind of crazy boring back here.
No,
anyway, we
it's
love
fine.
you guys. Love you so much. You're
Oh, it's a
amazing.
pleasure. I love you too.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
We are starting a couple of series that I cannot wait. So lots of great things coming up with the TED Show. Oh,
Ted,
go ahead, please.
We talked about something before we went live today, and it was kind of really important. I had this epiphany driving over today, and the whole point of this topic today was connecting people.
Yes.
In a technological savvy
Oh, yes,
society.
this is good. Please bring
so,
this up.
I promise I won't keep going.
No, I
But
love it.
I had a dream last night, and John Rivers, if you're there, say hello. We're
On Rivers. No, this is really good, actually.
This is good.
This is good.
So, how many of you have watched the TED Show and thought that there are two people who have commonality or similar stories and they should know each other? And maybe they do know each other, or maybe they haven't met yet and become acquainted. But I keep picturing that John Rivers and Chris Castro, Clayton Fierro, Lee Perry, Jamie Joyce, Fleet Farming, they're having like a conversation on the TED Show.
I love that.
And we
So
bring ideas
awesome.
for us and Fleet Farming, and you have John Rivers, who's so passionate. He was just up in Tallahassee doing some great things agriculturally for our schools, for our restaurants, and our communities. He's so farm to table. Like, can't you see Fleet Farming and John Rivers having a conversation on the TED Show?
I would love that. I think it's an amazing idea. Miranda definitely brought that up earlier. And it's so awesome. I think that's what we're trying to do, the connectivity, bring people together, meet people. And if you have someone you want to meet that is on Miranda's list or my list, message me. I'll do an introduction. I'm okay with that. I want more people to meet because I can promise you, John Rivers is one of the most humble people on the planet.
Amazing,
and so
man.
if I said to him, I would love for you to meet somebody from Fleet Farming, he probably hasn't met them. But let's say he hasn't. John would be like, okay.
Let's meet on camera.
We have
because
great
people want to see
people.
this
That's
conversation
correct. They want to
happening.
see
Even
the
if it's happened
conversation.
behind,
You're
it
100%
motivates
right.
people to
You're right.
focus on nutrition and
Right.
advancing themselves.
It's a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
So we're going to take that to the next level. Anyway, we love you guys. You were awesome, Miranda.
Oh,
thank
thank
you.
you.
Have a great weekend. We will see you next week. We've got a full show. I'm doing Walk a Mile in Her Shoes on Thursday for Harbor House. So I would love for you to get behind that and support it. We could have as many walkers as we want, not the Walking Dead kind, but the regular kind, come out on Thursday, and I'll continue to share that link, but such an important organization. And so you get to see me walk in shorts, hopefully, and my wedge high heels down Orange Avenue. But come out and support, please, if you can. But we love you guys. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Thank you.
Happy Friday.